Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be featuring some battles from my stream. This team consists of a Zekrom lead with Crunch. I'm not 100% sold on Crunch, to be honest, but it did come in pretty handy in this particular stream. And then as well Mewtwo with Ice Beam, and then Zacian with Close Combat and Wild Charge. And Zacian's supposed to be basically like the hard counter to anything that Zekrom's weak to. So things like Excadrill, things like Dialga, those type of Pokemon. Togekiss, I guess, is not. My team's a little bit weak to Togekiss, but it's certainly playable as you'll see. And then and then as well, Mewtwo has Ice Beam, which again, I'm not 100% sold on Ice Beam. Maybe Shadow Ball would have been better here, but Ice Beam, because like even the concept here is that you say switch to Mewtwo, draw out the Giratina, because I have no play rough on Zacian. When you draw the Giratina with Mewtwo, in my opinion, you should be throwing Side Strikes because you need 2 moves to KO anyways. Like one Shadow Ball doesn't KO, one Ice Beam doesn't KO, and you can Psycho Cut down. So in my opinion, I think Shadow Ball's just like better for like the Metagrosses and like better against like Steel types that you might encounter. So, but again, this is just a voiceover that I'm gonna do from my stream. I'm just gonna mute it here just in case there's any audio. And the first trainer is someone that attends my stream pretty frequently, and they have Therian Landorus, which is okay for me. It's not a terrible matchup. As you can see, these Dragon Breaths are doing a significant amount more damage than the Mud Shots, which is kind of crazy considering the Mud Shots are super effective. I'm gonna throw the Crunch and then look to switch out to Mewtwo. I did get the Defense Fall. And they come into Melmetal, which is obviously not great for me. I do get an extra Psycho Cut in, which is handy for me. I try to fake the Focus Blast here. Unfortunately, I have like literally the worst moveset for against Melmetal. But Mewtwo does win the Zero Shield versus Melmetal. So here I'm throwing on CMP, or what I think is CMP. And then it is. So I let this go. And then what I do here is I should have did one more, but I was a little bit afraid here of like desync because it looked like my moves got desynced. So I definitely had room to throw one more Thundershock there, or maybe even 2, and then I end up fainting with the move. I'm not actually, the animation looked really weird there. I'm not sure if I desynced or they desynced, and I'm gonna shield this. I do expect this to be a Stone Edge, which would do like 40%. And they come into Dialga here, trying to catch the Wild Charge. But I'm going to throw the Close Combat. And then I'm going to build up. I'm going to shield and look to build up. I'm pretty sure Zacian loses CMP to Landorus. So I'm going to throw this Close Combat. And then I'm going to immediately swap. Because the Zacian's actually... the Landorus is quite low, so they do have to throw here. And if they throw the superpower, I'll just farm down. If they throw the Stone Edge, then I'll double Close Combat them, and I'll easily live this Stone Edge. Though if they didn't debuff themselves, maybe they could have landed 2 Stone Edges, and the second one would have KO'd there. So a little bit fortunate how it played out for me. Spalkia lead is kind of weird here. We're both dealing super effective damage to each other, and they come into Zacian. I throw the Wild Charge. I'm not 100% sure I like the play that I did there, but it does mean the Side Strike does KO. They're going to try to desync CMP me there, so they did 3 and then threw. So I'm going to shield this just to maintain this switch, and then I do throw at 4. Just in case they went 1 over. I was pretty sure they did only 5 snarls there, but just in case. And I do expect the Palkia to come back, but I am pretty loaded at this point in time, so I'm in a relatively good position. This Side Strike would KO the Palkia. Palkia is quite glassy. Aqua Tail is a pretty weak move, so I actually bank this Side Strike here and then switch just because I have 2 answers here. And they actually immediately swap into Metagross. But because I have crunch here. I'm in a pretty good spot. Honestly, though, Wild Charge does actually, I believe actually slightly more than super effective Crunch, because Crunch is base 70 with no stab, but is super effective. So that would put it at like one. No, maybe it's like I think it's like 111 or something like that base power net, and then the Wild Charge so a stab is like base 120, so it would do slightly more. I'm pretty sure. Someone can verify that. Something just to know on whether or not you should be throwing like one stage difference Wild Charge or close combat, but it didn't really matter there. I was going to be in a good spot. As you can see, my dogs are napping while I'm battling. Hopefully, you're not napping while I am shoutcasting this. Obviously, very bad lead. I do switch here, and then here I try to fake the Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, they did get a Shadow Claw through, which was not so great for me. And they get the desync CMP as well. I decide to let this go. They do Shadow Ball me, and a little bit of lag there. Unfortunately, they really big brain me here. And this is where no outrage is definitely much more painful. I do intend to farm down here. I really hope that they shadow ball me here, but if they end up baiting, which is extremely problematic for me. If I had outrage here, I'll be able to live this move, but they pretty much have my number at this point in time. They immediately swap into Ho-Oh, no hesitation on their side. Very nice switch, and I throw the Wild Charge. Honestly, I have no choice but to throw first, and they no shield, which makes sense. I try to get the extra snarl in, which I should be able to, because I have like 2 3-turn moves versus 1 5-turn, so there's like 2 turns worth of time for me to get another snarl through, so I should easily get one through. And then, unfortunately, though, I just don't have a big enough energy advantage. Them switching out fast enough allowed them to get the move off, and there's no point here. Like even if I had outrage, it wouldn't one shot, and as well, I still have to deal with like the 5 HP Giratina. So very nice switch by them. If they would have switched like they did one more Shadow Claw, then I would have got a second one in, then I would have been in a pretty good spot here. So obviously a very bad lead. This is where Shadow Ball would definitely come in handy. But I faked the Shadow Ball. So Mewtwo does win this switch here, straight Shadow Ball. In fact, if you land the Shadow Ball, so I throw another Side Strike here, and this actually unbelievably fortunate for me, because it's actually a CMP, and I was a little worried that they were gonna undercharge here, but they decided to take me out, which makes sense just because they're so fearful that I have Shadow Ball, and I do have to shield this in fear that it is the EQ. And if they do EQ me here, I'm gonna count to 7 then throw. They actually switch here to Dialga, and this is kind of a tricky situation for me. I decide actually to let this go because I would think that they would have another counter to Zacian. So I actually completely let this go, and then I farm down, and I just trust in the power of Zekrom's ability to close out this match up a shield. It's a really great closer. If I had outrages, probably be well. Crunch actually really helped me here. And they actually end up having Palkia here, and the Wild Charge does a ridiculous amount of damage. I knew I'd be able to survive one more Dragon Tail, and I want to throw as late as possible, but I think I would be able to throw earlier, and honestly, the Wild Charge probably does like 70% to Palkia. Palkia is quite glassy here. Actually, I have one more battle here. Is quite glassy. So I really like Zekrom in the close after you farm something down. Here, the Togekiss lead is quite difficult to deal with, and they come into Giratina. So what I like to do here is I do like to basically my objective here is to play the 2 shield against the Giratina, no matter what. If they bait me, unless they very obviously bait me, I'm gonna play the 2 shield because I can farm down this Giratina, and they actually Omnibus win. So I'm going to overcharge here just to throw off their counts. So now I'm 3 away. And I throw the Side Strike. They have to shield. This is why I think like having the Ice Beam is like I guess like it's better against like Lugia. Well, the Shadow Ball would be better against Lugia. So I let this go. This is really nice to CMP here, and they undercharge, which is makes sense on their part. And I'm gonna look to farm down, and I think they try to commit to the Shadow Ball, and I'm in a very good spot here. Technically, I threw it like the first third of the charm, and then I switch here, and I'm in a really good spot. And this is a quite a popular team. This is a team I featured like a season or 2 seasons ago. Basically, yeah, I call it Yasser's no XL Master League Classic team. Basically, a budget team there. So I don't know, kind of awkward image. uh, and So I really like this team. I like the concept of. I'm not 100% sold on Ice Beam and Crunch. I think maybe try if you try this team, maybe try that moveset. But if you run into some issues, I think Outrage is really good for nuking the Dialgas, for example. It does quite a bit of damage, and the Shadow Ball is better for like the Metagrosses and like better for Lugia. And as well, there's not as many like eval tolls that you have to deal with. I guess like the Ice Beam is good for Zarude, but you're not going to be able to win that switch anyway. So I think it's better to fake the Focus Blast and hope that they shield. But that's pretty unlikely because not that many people run Focus Blast anymore. So, but something to consider. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. If you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.